Are you planning to transit from a full-time job to become an entrepreneur? You want that right? Of course you do. And now, in this video, I'm going to share with step by step, total 11 steps, actually total 10 and one bonus steps, which can help you how you can transit from your job to an entrepreneurial mission. And I'm going to give you one of the biggest aspect is about how you can manage the risk, because when you start your entrepreneurship journey, one of the biggest problem is about your risk of what that one too. So you can mitigate that risk through these steps and become successful as well too. Number one step, why? So first of all, you really need to figure out why do you want to do this. You have a full-time job. Why you are trying to do it? What is the particular reason you decide to do this one? So there are a few bad reasons, and those are really red flags. Please don't try an entrepreneurship. You got to do other things. So one of the reasons is about, I don't have a job, so I'm looking for another job. And it's quite hard for me to get a new job, so I'm starting an entrepreneurship journey. That's a big red flag. If no one wants to hire you, means market is not appreciating your skill set. So not even a job is not appreciating your skill set too, and that's a big problem. That means now your primary focus should be about how to acquire more valuable skill and try to get yourself more relevant to the market so somebody can offer you a job. Now you say this, oh John, there's a lot of entrepreneurs become successful, but the rates of being successful was like less than 1% or maybe even 0.0001%. And remember one thing is very important, it's about exception is not an example. So don't use the exceptions as an example and believe that you will become successful. The point is simple. The skills should be so valuable, so company should want to be able to acquire you, to get you input that want to, and then as it's so valuable, now even market want to work with you without having a company assurance on you. So like an example, when you're working for a company means you have a brand, you have a leadership people, you have a brand, credible people on the company, and you're part of it. So that means you don't have to really big brand and credibility of yourself, but customers still wanted to work with you because of the assurance which is coming with your company. But now, so that means if even company don't want to hire you, means your skill set is very undervalued right now. The goal is to now focus about up the skill set. Number two, another issue. Like I hate my boss. So if you hate the boss, change the job. That's the first thing, rather than opening up a new entrepreneurship mission, because it's gonna be 100 to 1,000 times harder what you are estimating right now. I tell you from my own personal life, that is the fact. If you think is 100 hard, it will be 1,000 or maybe 10,000 times harder than that estimation. So now, if you hate your boss, change the job. That's not a good why you should start an entrepreneurship journey. You have tried, change many jobs, and you always hating the boss. So that means the boss is not the problem. The problem is you. Your personality and your characteristic and your thinking ability has a problem. So now, take on programs to improve yourself. Read some psychological book to get your mindset back to the right track. Because ultimately, when you go around and you start a business, and if let's say if you have a very highly valuable skill too, which you have, that's why company hiring you, you still have a high problem, because now your boss will be your customer. Exactly, your boss will be customer and you will have problem with them. That means you will have very difficult situations to become successful. Those are the really big two red flag I share with you. So now, derive this one, why? The reason I'm talking about this, you need to understand about your why, because the more stronger why you have, the more better you have to burn against the difficulties and effort you need to put on to become successful as an entrepreneur. So that's why goal is to get a big why. I got my big why, and that's one of the reasons it helped me to pass through the difficulties. So get a better why. If you don't have it, it's fine. Keep it for future and focus on your job and building your personal development and your skill sets and make yourself more valuable in the market. Look out. What does it really mean, look out? Look out means look for product, look for services, look for profile, and look for brand. So these are the four things, look for it. What does it mean? So as you want to be an entrepreneur, one of the best and safest way to entrepreneur is to join a startup. So like an example, if you want to join a big corporation, you will never be an entrepreneur, because most of the time you will be a small cog in a huge machine. So there is no point for them, for you to help you to become an owner or stock owner of the company. Sometimes there is some ESOP and there, but those are really small amount. So that's why I suggest you, as you want to be an entrepreneur, go for the startups and look for those fundamental 4, and you find out at least 5 to 10 in each of the companies. So look at example profile means you look for the founder profile. What kind of skills that they have? How often we see entrepreneur with 20 years of experience? Very less. But this is what we say, an entrepreneur with 22 years old starting a business. So now working with somebody who have 20 years of experience or 15 years of experience, who has been highly successful and professional, who have a highly much more valuable skill compared to an entrepreneur who is just 22 and trying to set up an own business too. And that's exactly why the skill gap will be a big differentiator for entrepreneur to be 22 to become fail in a much more higher rate. I'm not saying this 122 entrepreneur could not become successful. They could become successful because they have other lever and advantage right now. But here, clearly somebody had 10, 15, 20 years of professional experience and become a C-suite executive and become successful in the career, means they have a valuable skill set, they know how to lead, and they have networks. So those all becomes a domino factor for somebody to become successful as an entrepreneur. Look for the product you really like. If you don't like the product, don't go for it. So now that's why pick up at least 5 products, think that you can love working on it. Brand, look for the brand. It's a startup brand, but you find that it's quite exciting. Don't go for something which is already very famous already, because if something very famous already, your chance to become the top of C-suite or CEO -1 or even replacing the CEO will be very lower into it. So go for a decent size, have a quite visible brand, and they are believed and they have a good brand story, and analyze them. So my tips is about pick up 5 of each of them first. So that's the look up. So now you have 5 of them, right? Now you choose the best 3. Why? You choose. Why do you want to work with them? Why do you like that brand? Why do you like the product? How much it aligns to core value? How much do you admire that profile of the founder? So now you find out, you look up already. Number 4, value proposition. This is the fun is for you right now. So now you have already find out, you look at founders, products, and company startups, right? So now what's your value proposition? Why the company wants to have you into the startup? Because startup is always doing things very fast, very forward, because they know that if they're not making great progress fast, there will be a problem. Market will just put them out, just chop them down and throw them to the trash bin. It's that fast. So that's why they're gonna move forward very fast. So now to get into a startup, that's why the value proposition mapping is really important. So to do a value proposition, product sales, product marketing. Number 3 is about product development. So now product marketing, product sales, and product development. And now underneath is about the leadership ability. So these are the 4 factors. So basically 3 columns and 1 row. You must have a leadership skills, because when you are looking for become an entrepreneur, you need to build this leadership skill sets. So you have it, right? You believe it. If you don't have it, take programs, build the leadership skill set fast before you're thinking about being an entrepreneur. Because if you wanted to start by own with a leadership skill set, you destroy it will be very fast, and even you will not have chance to get into this lookup startups which you have just identified. So now let's say you already have a leadership skill set. So now you choose, what is your strength? Can you market the product? Can you sell the product? Or can you build the product? So now you map your skill set about one of them. You at least have to have one, but if you could do, that's an excellent. That will make you a really outstanding during the conversation with the founder in terms of selection process. Number 5, now you reach out to those founders. You start with a conversation, you start with a value proposition, and you talk about where they are right now. You talk about your value proposition, and you talk about where you will take the startup in next 3 to 5 years period of time. What will be the exactly result look like, the things you're gonna take forward, and then you tell them what you want in return, being a part of that way too. I know this is a way you can really get into a startup and be a great part of this one too. So value proposition, clearly define the result and what will be the measurement on the way as well too, and then where the result look like in 5 years, and then when it's been arrived to the 5 years, and that's what you want. And with most of the aspect with this one you could actually having a big part of a startup without putting any money down. You could say this one, I will put monies, but many of the founder will be agree with you to give you a stock or part of the company even without putting the money on place. That means you don't have to risk your money. You just need to risk the outcome or result. And you should be very, very confident doing this one, because that's why the value proposition of the previous step is so much important. Because the founder, the leaders of the startup are going to challenge you, going to ask you that, can you really do this one? And that's why you need to come up with a step-by-step process. Like an example, you say this one, you can market the product. So you're going to tell them the step-by-step how you're going to market the product and how you generate the leads, how you make the product as one of the top brands in the markets and making it successful, and how much resource and how much effort you're going to put on as well too. Don't forget to say this one too, because then you look like a credible person in front of the founder. And this is why tons of people make mistakes. They just come up and say big words, and when you say how are you going to do this one, they have a big blind spot. And then what happened, the founder immediately picked up, oh, this guy is just a full of BS. It's not going to work and we shouldn't have this person. Number 6, improve the offer. So you come with reach out with the number 5, right? 5 state you start to the founder. And I tell you that your first 1, 2, 3 offer will be really sucks, most likely, unless you are excellent at creating offers. So most of the time, your even first 5 offer will be really suck. So what I like to do this one is about, if I have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I start with the 5. So then when I go to the top preference of my lookup, I have the best offer. Because every time I presented the offer, you will present the offer, you will have a feedback, and they will tell you why they don't like your offer and what's the problem in your offer too. Maybe the value proposition was wrong. Maybe you was thinking you could sell a lot, but actually figured out that you are not to sell a lot, you can actually market a lot. Maybe the leadership was not as good as you know. Maybe you talk about it is a 3-year plan, but actually you need 5 years, even 6 years to get to the result which you're planning for, or the result you're trying to create. They actually don't need you to have this kind of result and give you that kind of in return stock in the company. They can do it with much more other different, and they probably have to figure out how to do it as well too. So that's why the goal is to continuously improve your offers and then pitch to the next founder. And then if in 6 months of time, if you don't have anyone to join, then you can come back to the 6 months ago, the other founder, and propose them a new founder. Because normally entrepreneurs move forward really fast and they let things go. Unless you really come into bad conversations, you can always reinitiate the conversation with the entrepreneur. Number 7, make the time. There's a lot of people who wants to be an entrepreneur and they always stays in a wantrepreneur. This is the word I find out in one book. So wantrepreneur, they just want to. But when it comes to doing into it, there's the one thing very important, is about making the time. So somebody who want to transit from career to an entrepreneurship journey, most of the time they need to work double. So normally the working hour will not be just 10 hours, it will be 14 hours and 16 hours. And also going to be the time of taking from the weekend into that as well too. So now it sounds like a lot of work. Haha, welcome to the entrepreneurship. That's what's called entrepreneurship. Because if you want to start up your own business by quitting the job, first of all, your income will be just 0, and then you will take all the risk and all the fear, and you will be working 16 to 18 hours every day to start a business too. So that's why gotta make the time. There will not be just manage the time. Making the time will be the factor. Number 8, managing the personal life. Very important. Personal life should be calm, quiet, simple, straightforward, and in a decent mood as well too. Because that's what we'll be needing for someone like you if you want to be an entrepreneur. Number 9, managing the personal finance will be another factor too. If you have a loan, probably this is not the best way to quit the job and jump to an entrepreneurship. If you have a loan, the best way is to do this one, you could start a side hustle first through the steps I shared with you, and then take it over step by step. And very important thing is about as you wanted to be an entrepreneur, so one of the goals will be for you to keep saving. That's very important, to cut down any kind of unnecessary expenses and save that one for the future. I'm talking about the same boring thing like save for the rainy day, right? But this is going to be valuable. I know the model I'm telling you right now, which can give you the less risk of being an entrepreneur, but however, you still want to have some cash, because every day we're not getting younger, you're getting older, right? You're probably children going up, or probably other debt you have to pay off. So the goal is to about start saving as much as you can and cut down any kind of unnecessary expenses as well too. And that will help you, not just helping you only financially, but also giving a lot of mental peace as well too, that you are not going to go down without any reason. Number 10, the level of difficulties. This is the thing I'm telling you. So entrepreneurship is hard. And if you want to be an entrepreneur, I want to tell you upfront that it's gonna be really, really, really hard. How hard is? So let's pick a number. Let's say if I ask you how hard is it being an entrepreneur, you pick up a number. Go pick up a number. You want to pick up, let's say, 10, or let's say you pick up 100. Now, reality will be 100 multiply 10, 1,000. So whatever estimations you are making to become a successful entrepreneur, multiply by 10. How long you need to become successful to be an entrepreneur, estimate that number. 5 years? Probably you should multiply by 10 too, but 50 years is probably too much. So re-estimate probably. So if you estimate for 1 year, it's gonna be 10 years to become successful, for sure. Now let's talk about effort. How much time do you need to put down? How many hours? If it takes 1,000 hours to become successful, multiply by 10. It's going to take you 10,000 hours to become a successful entrepreneur too. So now this is the thing. This exercise for me to tell you that it's actually a really, really difficult thing. And every odds is against you too. So that's why to become successful as an entrepreneur, you got to have that high level of diligence, discipline, and determinations of doing this mission too. And through that, step number 1 to step number 8, I already told you how you can reduce all the risk, because the one thing can kill you becoming a successful entrepreneur is the risk. Because if you don't do the right risk management, it's going to be a disaster. If you do a great risk management through this step, it's a high chance you will be successful. So now I told you I'm going to give you one more bonus, right? And that's called don't overestimate yourself. So whenever you're in a startup, you're coming on as a leader or coming on a particular area, don't overestimate yourself, because when you start to overestimate yourself, the one thing becomes your problem. First of all, you see yourself much bigger than who you are, and that is such a dangerous term. How dangerous? I will tell you. So like Warren Buffett tell this one, I'm always scared of people whose IQ is 70 but they think they are 90. But I'm always willing to hug the person whose IQ is 70 but they think they're 60. What does it mean? Be humble and contribute to the mission, and share the joy together, so everyone can feel that you belong to the team, belong to the startups, belong to the journey, and then you'll be very highly successful, step by step. But again, I'm telling you, whatever estimating the time is going to be 10 times more than that. So here we go. I just give you this 10 plus 1, 11 tips how you can move from a job to being a full-time entrepreneur step by step with the least possible risk in this video. Go ahead and apply. You want more tips? Check out this 2 videos and let's dive into breakdown together.